Blue collar, white collar, black professors, white scholars, politicians, Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert BobTV Brown. How you doing today? Well, Kamala Harris announced her run, and then she had her first rally last weekend in Oakland during the kickoff show, and she had about 10 to 20,000 people. I mean, look, you're in your own hometown. You better have a lot of people showing up, you know. So she represented that Oakland, San Francisco area. You know, one side they sell Birkenstock, and the other one they where the weed at. So she was over on where the weed side, all right, catering to the urban area that's more toward her demographic, and it was a decent speech. Let's go ahead and listen to some of it. I'll be right back.
Well, let me tell you, I am so proud to be a daughter of Oakland, California. And as most of you know, I was born just up the road at Kaiser Hospital. And it was just a few miles away that my parents first met as graduate students at UC Berkeley, where they were active in the civil rights movement. And they were born half a world apart from each other. My father, Donald, came from Jamaica to study, to see a world beyond just ourselves, to be conscious and compassionate about the struggles of all people. We were raised to believe public service is a noble cause and the fight for justice is everyone's responsibility. In fact, my mother used to say, "Don't sit around and complain about things, do something." And basically, I think she was basically saying, you've got to get up and stand up and don't give up the fight. And it is this deep-rooted belief that inspired me to become a lawyer and a prosecutor. It was just a couple of blocks from this very spot, nearly 30 years ago, as a young district attorney, I walked into the courtroom for the first time and said the 5 words that would guide my life's work. Kamala Harris, for the people. Now I knew our criminal justice system was deeply flawed, but I also knew the profound impact law enforcement has on people's lives and its responsibility to give them safety and dignity. I knew I wanted to protect people, and I knew that the people in our society who are most often targeted by predators are also most often the voiceless and vulnerable. I believed for the people meant fighting for a more fair criminal justice system. We created an initiative to get skills and job training instead of jail time for young people arrested for drugs. For the people meant fighting for middle-class families who had been defrauded by banks and were losing their homes by the millions in the Great Recession. And I'll tell you, sitting across the table from the big banks, I witnessed the arrogance of power. Wealthy bankers accusing innocent homeowners of fault, as if Wall Street's mess was of the people's making. So we went after the 5 biggest banks in the United States. We won $20 billion for California homeowners. And we strongest anti-foreclosure law in the United States of America. For the people meant fighting transnational gangs who traffic in drugs and guns and human beings. And I saw their sophistication, their persistence, and their ruthlessness. And folks, on the subject of transnational gangs, let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them. During the healthcare fight, I saw parents and children with grave illnesses walk the halls of the United States Congress. Families who had traveled across the country at incredible sacrifice. They came to our nation's capital, believing that if their stories were heard and if they were seen, their leaders would do the right thing. I saw the same thing with our dreamers. They came by the thousands, by plane, train, automobile. I'm sure they were sleeping 10 deep on someone's living room floor. And they came because they believe in our democracy and the only country they have ever known as home. I met survivors who shared their deepest and most painful personal experiences, who told stories they had never before revealed, even to their closest loved ones, because they believed that if they were seen, that their leaders would do the right thing and protect the highest court in our land. And together, we took on these battles. And to be sure, we've won and we've lost. But we have never stopped fighting. We are here because the American dream and our American democracy are under attack and on the line like never before. Because we must answer a fundamental question. Who are we? Who are we as Americans? America, we are better than this. When we have leaders who bully and attack a free press and undermine our democratic institutions, that's not our America. When white supremacists march and murder in Charlottesville or massacre innocent worshipers in a Pittsburgh synagogue, that's not our America. When we have children in cages crying for their mothers and fathers, don't you dare call that border security. That's a human rights abuse. And that's not our America. When we have leaders who attack public schools and vilify public school teachers, that is not our America. When bankers who crashed our economy get bonuses, but the workers who brought our country back can't even get a raise, that's not our America. And when American families are barely living paycheck to paycheck, what is this administration's response? Their response is to try and take health care away from millions of families. Their response is to give away $1 trillion to the biggest corporations in this country. And their response is to blame immigrants as the source of all our problems. We must seek truth, speak truth, and fight for the truth. So let's speak some truth. Let's speak truth about our economy. Our economy today is not working for working people. The cost of living is going up, but paychecks aren't keeping up. For so many Americans, a decent retirement feels out of reach, and the American dream feels out of touch. The truth is, our people are drowning in debt. Record student loan debt, car loan debt, credit card debt, resorting to payday lenders because you can't keep up with the bills. People are drowning in America. We have a whole generation of Americans living with a sinking fear that they won't do as well as their parents. And let's speak another truth about our economy. Women are paid on average 80 cents on the dollar, black women 63 cents, Latinas 53 cents. And here's the thing, when we lift up the women of our country, we lift up the children of our country, we lift up the families of our country, and the whole of society benefits. Let's speak another truth. Big pharmaceutical companies have unleashed an opioid crisis from the California coast to the mountains of West Virginia, and people, once and for all, we have got to call drug addiction what it is, a national public health emergency. And what we don't need is another war on drugs. Let's speak truth. Climate change is real, and it is happening now. Everybody here knows, from wildfires in the West, to hurricanes in the East, to floods and droughts in the heartland. But we're not going to buy the lie. We're going to act based on science fact, not science fiction. And let's speak an uncomfortable but honest truth with one another. Racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia are real in this country. And they are age-old forms of hate with new fuel. And we need to speak that truth so we can deal with it. Let's also speak the truth that too many unarmed black men and women are killed in America. Too many black and brown Americans are being locked up. From mass incarceration to cash bail to policing, our criminal justice system needs drastic repair. Let's speak that truth. And let's speak truth. Under this administration, America's position in the world has never been weaker. When democratic values are under attack around the globe, when authoritarianism is on the march, when nuclear proliferation is on the rise, when we have foreign powers infecting the White House like malware, let's speak that truth. And let's speak truth about what are clear and present dangers. And let's speak the biggest truth of all. In the face of powerful forces trying to sow hate and division among us. The truth is that as Americans, we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's speak that truth. And let's not buy that stuff that some folks are trying to peddle. Let's never forget that on the fundamental issues, we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And you know, some will say, well, we need to search to find that common ground. Here's what I say. I think we need to recognize we are already standing on common ground. I say we rise together or we fall together as one nation indivisible. And I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not talking about unity for the sake of unity. So hear me out. I'm not talking about unity for the sake of unity. I'm not talking about some facade of unity. And I believe we must acknowledge that the word unity has often been used to shut people up or to preserve the status quo. After all, let's remember, when women fought for suffrage, those in power said they were dividing the sexes and disturbing the peace. Let's remember, when abolitionists spoke out and civil rights workers marched, their oppressors said they were dividing the races and violating the word of God. But Frederick Douglass said it best, and Harriet Tubman and Dr. King knew. To love the religion of Jesus is to hate the religion of the slave master. When we have true unity, no one will be subjugated for others. It's about fighting for a country with equal treatment, collective purpose, and freedom for all. That's who we are. That's who we are. And so, I stand before you today clear-eyed about the fight ahead and what has to be done. With faith in God, with fidelity to country, and with the fighting spirit I got from my mother, I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for President of the United States. I'm running to fight for an America where the economy works for working people. For an America where you only have to work one job to pay the bills. And where hard work is rewarded and where any worker can join a union. I am running to declare once and for all that health care is a fundamental right. And we will deliver that right with Medicare for all. I am running to declare education is a fundamental right. And we will guarantee that right with universal pre-K and debt-free college. I'm running to guarantee working and middle-class families an overdue pay increase. We will deliver the largest working and middle-class tax cut in a generation, up to $500 a month to help America's families make ends meet. And we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it by reversing this administration's giveaways to the top big corporations and the top 1%. I'm running to fight for an America where our democracy and its institutions are protected against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Which is why I will defend this nation against all threats to our cybersecurity. We will secure our elections and our critical infrastructure to protect our democracy. And we will honor our service members and veterans so no one who has served this country has to wait in line for weeks and months to get what they are owed when they return home on first day. I'm running to fight for an America where no mother or father has to teach their young son that people may stop him, arrest him, chase him, or kill him because of his race. An America where every parent can send their children to school without being haunted by the horror of yet another killing spree. Where we treat attacks on voting rights and civil rights and women's rights and immigrant rights as attacks on our country itself. An America where we welcome refugees and bring people out of the shadows and provide a pathway to citizenship. An America where our daughters and our sisters and our mothers and our grandmothers are respected where they live and where they work. Where reproductive rights are not just protected by the Constitution of the United States, but guaranteed in every state. Lord knows I am not perfect, but I will always speak with decency and moral clarity and treat all people with dignity and respect. I will lead with integrity and I will speak the truth. And of course, we know this is not going to be easy, guys. It's not going to be easy. And we know what the doubters will say. It's the same thing they've always said. They'll say, it's not your time. They'll say, wait your turn. They'll say, the odds are long. They'll say, it can't be done. But America's story has always been written by people who can see what can be, unburdened by what has been. That is our story. That is our story. And as Robert Kennedy many years ago said, only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. He also said, "I do not lightly dismiss the dangers and the difficulties of challenging an incumbent president. But these are not ordinary times, and this is not an ordinary election." He said, "At stake is not simply the leadership of our party and even our country. It is our right to moral leadership of this planet. These are not ordinary times, and this will not be an ordinary election. But this is our America." And so here's the thing. It's up to us. It's up to us, each and every one of us. So let's remember, in this fight, we have the power of the people. We can achieve the dreams of our parents and grandparents. We can heal our nation. We can give our children the future they deserve. We can reclaim the American dream for every single person in our country. And we can restore America's moral leadership on this planet. Let's do this.
Well, there you have it. That was Kamala Harris' entire speech for her 2020 run for President of the United States. My thoughts on this speech is simply this. Sounds great, sound beautiful. She had a little jabs here on President Trump. I guess it's designed to make it look like you can go toe-to-toe with Trump. But what I see here is a PR, and you hate me all you want. To me, it's just smart what she's doing. Will it work? Not on me. It don't work on me. And there's a lot of other people like me. And here's why. From the beginning, Hillary Clinton and her team decide to invest in her. Wanted to do whatever they can to throw money her way. Had a party over here in the Hamptons. Tested the water to see if she could raise some money. Was very successful. They saw her as somebody that has looked like Obama, young like Obama, can talk like Obama, has the ability to reach through all ethnicity, career, history. We're not talking about record, but being a DA, being a prosecutor, being an attorney general, senator, and now Secretary of State. Now running for the office of President of the United States. And all we need now is to put Bernie Sanders' message in there, and whatever the American people are desiring in big numbers, let's make her push for that, and we'll win. Smart philosophy. If I can give them Medicare, let me look at the polling on certain things, and let me offer to the American people what they want. That's how you win the game. Find out what the people want and give it to them. I've been saying it for years. People want Medicare, don't push back against it. They want Medicare for all. Single payer, she didn't mention single payer. She just said Medicare for all. A lot of Democrats will do that, and they're not talking about single payer. But she mentioned Medicare for all because Medicare for all is a hot topic and is polling well about in the 60s or 70s, even with the Republicans. So she's pandering toward that. That wasn't her philosophy before, but that's her philosophy now running for president. She didn't run on that as a senator. She's running on that now. Alexander Ocasio-Cortez ran on these same principles. Medicare for all, single payer, No cost education, not no debt, but no cost education, which means it don't cost you anything. It's different. She ran on canceling student loans and a whole bunch of issues. And she ran on that as a legislator going into Congress. Kamala Harris is in Congress. She didn't run on those before, but as president, she's running on that. Now, what I believe, and this is just my belief, you believe whatever you want. Focus groups, study groups, all these people, places like Near Tanner's organization, whatever it's called, Something for America, whatever. They do case studies to find out what people want. And it's smart. If you find out what the people want, give it to them, offer it to them, and you'll get a lot of votes. You'll get a lot of people coming out. Where I differ with Ms. Harris is it sounds so copycatish. It does not sound original. It doesn't sound genuine. It's not in the passion of her. I mean, if you're judging by passion, I didn't buy into the passion. When I first heard Bernie Sanders, you know, I got my problem with Bernie, especially the sheepdogging version of Bernie. I felt the passion. I felt the fire. And as they say, I felt the burn. I checked the record and seemed like Bernie been doing this all for decades. His record is there. A couple things that they get on Bernie about, and I can understand, like the guns and things like that in his statement and things like that. Yet he got a D plus with the NRA. Let's see if Kamala Harris got a D plus. I mean, she's pro-cop. Nothing wrong with that, as long as it's, you don't put cop before people in general. So my coming away from this speech is everything was said beautiful. She did a little jabs. She was looking for the applaud in some areas. Some of the things she was talking about, her record as a prosecutor, her record as a legislator, her going into the office saying, I'm here for the people. That just sounds so, that sounds so unnatural. And yeah, I'm critiquing. But the things, her policies were great, on point. Why? Because people in general want those things, and they're demanding that from the government. If she seems like she can be the person to give it to them, they'll gravitate toward her and vote for her, especially if Bernie Sanders don't get in the race. Now, real people who can smell a seasoned politician just going to talk the game and not do nothing, they smell right through that, right through it. They smell right through it. I smell right through it. Because I don't see what you've done in the past. I don't see what you're doing in the present to tell me you're going to do that in the future. Most of the presidents that ever run always say lofty things, just like Trump did. I'm going to give you all these things. I'm going to bring back jobs. I'm going to do all that thing. Got in office, didn't do nothing. It's one thing we can learn about a person who's been fighting on these issues forever. It's in their blood, it's in their bones, it's in their mind. They live, breathe, eat, and crap all this stuff all day. It's not just to get votes. It's not just to achieve a position. Now, I'm saying this concerning Kamala Harris because, you know, of her history, her past so far. It ain't got nothing to do with her color. She's a beautiful biracial woman. She's beautiful. She's very intelligent. How she got up the ladder is questionable, but she's at the ladder now. That's her past. Where she's at right now, she's a married woman. It doesn't matter with none of that. What always mattered to me is what you've done in the past, what you're doing now, and what you're going to do in the future. That always mattered to me. And for those who said, are you going to ask those same questions to the Kirsten Gillibrand, to the Castros? Are you demanding the same thing from them as you demanding from Kamala Harris? You doggone right. Who told you it was anything different? So my take from this is everything sounds great, but like I said, just cause you say it don't mean I'm going to buy it. You can say it all you want. My thing is it really in your blood system? Is it really part of your passion? Is it what you really truly believe, or are you just saying whatever you can to get people on your side to get you in the office? Because it's either that. Either you're really for this, always been, always will. You really have the fire and passion to push these policies, or you're just doing it to get elected. I'll leave that up to you. Do you think it's really in her bloodstream, or do you really think she's doing that to get elected? I'm Robert Brown with the Rob Report. I'll let you later. Peace.